Don't get confused. I know I'm wearing a turtleneck. I look full on winter mode. But at the time I'm filming this, it's the beginning of March. I feel like the air in Amsterdam has changed a little bit. It's starting to feel like spring. There's flowers blooming. And I think a lot of us are starting to think about where we want to go for holidays this year, what sort of new destinations we want to explore. And I thought it would be a great idea to go through the holiday destinations for each of the zodiac signs. And don't fret, for those of us that maybe cannot travel this year, whether we don't have it in the budget or for whatever reason, maybe we're just not capable because of our responsibilities, I'm also going to give you an idea for each of the zodiac signs of something that you can do locally or in your immediate surroundings that can hopefully give you the same holiday feeling. All right, enough talking for now. Let's get started. For Aries, the holiday destination for 2025 is the South Island of New Zealand. It is a perfect destination for the active Aries, lots of hikes and lots of water sports, so there should definitely be lots of things to keep you busy. And for the Aries that won't be able to travel to New Zealand this year, here's what you can do locally to get the same holiday feeling. Perhaps you can do a pool day where you get to enjoy some movement in the water, some splashes and some fun. Or if you do live in an area where there is nature nearby, going for a hike is also a great way to get this feeling. For Taurus, the holiday destination of 2025 is Moscow, Russia. And the reason I recommend Moscow for Tauruses is because of all of the culture bustling in that city. For a Venus-ruled sign like Taurus, going to all of the museums and going to ballet shows should be absolute perfection. And if you're a Taurus that cannot travel this year, perhaps there are some shows, whether music, dance, theater shows, that you can perhaps attend in your local area. For Geminis, the holiday destination for this year is New York City in the USA. New York City is known as the city that doesn't sleep, and honestly, that's perfect for busy Geminis. There should definitely be a lot to discover, a lot to explore, and your senses should be tingling from all of the sounds as well. For the Geminis that cannot travel, perhaps a busy area of the city that you live in could be exciting. Maybe that's a market on a Saturday morning with lots of people buying their groceries. Maybe that is a local cafe where there's lots of different conversations. There's the barista noises. There's also music in the background. It should definitely give you the same bustling, energetic feeling. For Cancers, Ljubljana, Slovenia is the holiday destination for you. Honestly, I do think the Slavic countries in general are quite underrated when it comes to holiday destinations, which is why they are perfect for a Cancer. They might be a little bit less touristy, really still giving that homey feeling that the Cancer usually likes. And I got to say, Slavic people are in general very, very welcoming. They would literally take you off the street and bring you home to have dinner with them. And I think that would probably be an amazing holiday for a Cancer. And if you are a Cancer that cannot travel this year, unfortunately, you might consider visiting a small town nearby. Usually a small town within your vicinity will also give that type of a feeling. You usually won't have any big box type of stores. You'll usually have a little bit more local stores. The people might also really know each other, so you might get that homey feeling that you're looking for. For Leos, the colorful city of Havana, Cuba is definitely the holiday destination. As a Leo that likes to express themselves, and you probably also love color, going to a city like Havana where spices, sounds, music, colors are so fully embraced will probably feel really rejuvenating to your own soul and your own spirit. When you come back home, you're gonna feel like you want to step 10 times more into fully owning who you are. And for the Leos that cannot travel this year, perhaps doing something like a mural tour throughout your city or a city nearby could also give you that same feeling. You get to see lots of different art. Usually, murals in the public space are quite colorful, quite big, quite impressive. So you might also get a similar feeling, even though you might not be able to go to Cuba. For Virgos, the destination to travel to for your upcoming holiday is Tokyo, Japan. And while Tokyo might be quite busy, quite technologically advanced, I feel like it's the perfect city for Virgos because the Japanese culture is the culture that appreciates details just as much as you, Virgo. They pay attention to everything, even making sure that they have the best toilets, the best technology when it comes to toilets. And I feel like as a detail oriented Virgo, you are going to definitely appreciate those types of little details that a holiday in Japan will just feel extra wonderful. And if you're not able to travel, Virgo, don't worry. You can probably get the same feeling home by going to a specialized craftsman store. A lot of the times we're used to going to like a Walmart or a Target where it's general type of store. We can buy 10,000 things there. But if you can't travel, consider perhaps going to a stationery store where their focus is entirely on doing the best stationery, or a cheese store where their entire specialty is curating and knowing everything about cheeses. You can go wild here, go to any specialized craftsmanship store. That should probably feel very wonderful for you, especially if you're staying home, Virgo. For Libras, the holiday destination of the year is Santorini, Greece. Just the white facades of the buildings should be enough for all aesthetic seeking Libras. But also, we are talking about sunshine, we're talking about beaches, we're talking about the slow island living. And I do think that's going to be perfect for the Libras that are seeking a little bit of inner peace. And for the Libras that cannot travel this year, I recommend going to a place in your town or a place nearby where the view gives you a sense of peace and a sense of calm, that it's a view that you can really appreciate. Whether that's from your grandma's house, whether it's from the bookstore or from the cafe, get yourself nestled in there. That sort of serenity from just looking at something beautiful probably bring just about the same feelings. For Scorpios, we're going crazy. The holiday destination for Scorpios is Antarctica. Honestly, if there's somebody, I don't want to say crazy because that sounds disrespectful in today's age. If there is somebody ballsy enough to go to the ends of the earth for their holiday, it is definitely Scorpio. I do think that just the adventure, the sheer fact that not that many people go to Antarctica, being able to be faced with nature in this very tactile, very real way, getting to experience the power of nature and how honestly we can be at the mercy of it sometimes. I think that can be a very invigorating, very exciting holiday for a Scorpio. And honestly, if you cannot travel this year, Scorpio, then perhaps there's something similar that you can do nearby in your city, in your country. Maybe it's all about taking a cold plunge for you, or perhaps doing something intense like bungee jumping or skydiving. For Sagittarius, we're going to South Africa and specifically Kruger National Park. Honestly, Sagittarius loves to experience new things. And what's more perfect, more fitting than literally seeing animals that you have only seen in movies right there in front of your own eyes? I think a sort of safari type of trip is perfect for a Sagittarius because of that reason. And if you're a Sagittarius that unfortunately has to stay home this year, take a look if perhaps you can take a day trip to the zoo, maybe like a petting zoo where you can really get that sort of more tactile, up close interaction with the animals. That should hopefully get you to experience different animals, different things that maybe you have not seen before. For Capricorns, we're going to Scotland and specifically Edinburgh. Edinburgh has a really old architecture, and honestly, I have never been, but just from looking through the photos, I get the sense of history, the sense of ancestry. I feel like it's a place where I can literally imagine my great 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 grandparents walking through those streets in the morning, going to the milkman to get milk. This, for a Capricorn that loves sort of history and structure and organization and things being built over time, I do think experiencing a city that gives off this history feeling like Edinburgh will probably feel really enriching. And if you cannot travel this year, Capricorn, perhaps there's a really old building or a really old part of town that you can visit instead. Maybe there is a really old bookshop where you get that same feeling, that same sense of history, of tradition that continues to live on. For Aquarius, we are going to Berlin, Germany as the holiday destination. Honestly, Aquarius, you've probably always felt like you were the odd one out, but when you go to Berlin, Germany, you're probably going to wonder if you're too mainstream. I was in Berlin, I think last year, and it was definitely, I thought I was eccentric until I went to Berlin. I definitely saw a lot of eccentric people. So this is a perfect place to feel like your individuality is celebrated, to be inspired by the individuality of everybody else. And there are lots of local shops, lots of vintage shops, so you can also do some shopping without necessarily worrying that somebody back home is going to have the same thing as you. For the Aquarius that has to stay home this year, I recommend going to a vintage shop that or secondhand shop that will probably give you a feeling of finding unique things and celebrating the one-off uniqueness of the objects in the store. And finally, for Pisces, the holiday destination for you is Venice, Italy. I know that we've heard lots of like over tourism types of conversations around Venice, Italy, but I still had to fit it in. It's the perfect sort of romantic image for our watery Pisces. And honestly, a city surrounded by water, that's also perfect because Pisces is a water sign. And I do feel like the Venice type of holiday would also be more of a slow living holiday. I think there actually probably isn't that much to do in Venice. Don't quote me on this because I've never been. But I do think it would be a type of holiday where it's more of sitting at a cafe and just staring and dreaming about whatever this city is bringing up inside you. And that, daydreaming, is perfect for Pisces. If you're a Pisces that has to stay home for this holiday season, see if you have just a small body of water nearby to you and whether you can get a boat for the day. It would be a really wonderful sort of day trip for you to perhaps go rowing in this boat, nothing strenuous, just very casual, very romantic, and maybe even have a picnic at the end of your rowing trip. So those are all of the holiday destinations for the 12 zodiac signs. Let me know down in the comments if you have a recommendation for one of the zodiac signs. And what is your zodiac sign? And what is your favorite place that you have traveled to? I'd love to hear. And who knows, maybe it will inspire me in 2026 for my next holiday destination. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have an amazing holiday, and I hope to see you again soon.